Welcome back to the Weekly News Roundup. This is the business and the Sillyville edition. These are recorded live Fridays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, if you would like to catch the show live. Jumping right on in, Tesla was rarely happy about pushing out that full self-driving update, and then they pulled it back because the things would all of a sudden slam on the brakes and do other weird things. Guys, I will remind you, Tesla is literally beta testing software on public roads with people who are not engineers or company employees. If anybody gets hurt by a Tesla in this experimental mode, sue Tesla for everything. They should not be putting untested beta software on public roads because apparently it's causing problems by randomly slamming on brakes in public streets. Great. That's also why I run a dash cam. Any Teslas come in front of me and all of a sudden slam on the brakes. Well, I mean, if my van hits a little Tesla, there will not be much left of that Tesla. I'm going to tell you that. But I'm going to back away from it really quick because I got about 15 seconds before them lithium ions go. All right. So the full self-driving software lived up to its beta label this weekend. Saturday morning, they announced a delay for the 10.3 update after internal quality assurance testers discover the new versions perform worse at left turns and traffic lights than previous versions. Great! Now the beta software doesn't know how to make turns right. Then Sunday, Musk said Tesla would be rolling back to 10.2 temporarily after reports of sudden braking, false warnings, and other issues. Great. And so literally they rolled this out, and then the experimenters on the public roads found the bugs, and so they had to roll it back. Several owners reported their vehicles braked suddenly when the software mistakenly reported an imminent collision, known as automatic emergency braking. Neither of the feature nor its bugs are limited to Tesla. Mazda records from its 2019 cars for the problem. When working properly, forward collision warning and automatically emergency braking work in concert to prevent vehicle from crashing into objects in its path. Combination of sensors and software, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, just Tesla, they're experimenting on the roads. Well, the U.S. Copyright Office says you can now fix a game console, but only the optical drive. So if your optical drive in your Xbox goes out, you can now fix that without violating U.S. DMCA. But you can only fix the optical drive, so you can't do anything else yet. I did read through most of the list of the new changes. Mostly it does give the security workers a lot more use, and it gives educators a lot more use. Still no word if we are technically able to take our own private, completely legally purchased DVDs and make them digital for our own private collection. That still is not been tested in the law nor commented on. Very shameful to see that. But nevertheless, they go into this article here. There's a few things, but mostly what most of the articles about this focused on the fact that consoles can be repaired with respect to the optical drive, but nothing else. But there was actually about 30 or so things that they changed and clarified in the DMCA if you actually read the document, which might be linked in here. I know it was linked to one of the articles I read. It does not appear to be linked in this particular one I have here, but you can find it online. Well, I talked in the Sillyville last week that Apple has put a notch on the MacBook. And apparently the MacBook notch causes problems with menu and status options. So if your menu goes too large, it seems to cause issues because there is no system in there, and the old programs basically all need to be rewritten for the stupid notch, because why the hell do you need a notch on this thing? You don't need a notch on a MacBook. If this much space for a camera is going to get in your way, you need psychiatric care. I'm telling you. Let's put a notch on everything, derp. Stay tuned. Somebody else decided to follow Apple and put notches on things. We'll get there in the Sillyville part. Well, they're saying they have to recode a bunch of software, blah, 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 blah. And now we have a stupid, ugly notch, which basically just solidifies the fact I'm not interested in buying Apple. Well, on to a string of Microsoft news. First up, Microsoft is working on a low-cost Surface laptop and Windows 11 SE. Hey, Windows, that didn't work the last time you tried to do it. It was a bad idea then, and it's a bad idea now because your marketing is stupid and your customer base has no earthly idea what the difference is between Windows 11 and Windows 11 SE. So for clarity, Windows 11 SE is basically going to be a lockdown tablet type thing where the only software allowed on the device is available from the Microsoft Store. You have your favorite thing, you have your game on your old CD drive, you can't use those anymore. I'm deeply sorry about that, but no, those happen to be, those happen to be things for old Windows, regular Windows, not Windows 11 SE. And so they're trying it again. They're trying to compete with the Chromebooks. They're trying to get these into the schools because we must feed on the children's data. And yes, reports have come out this week suggesting that indeed these companies have been harvesting and collecting and storing to use data from your children, like I've told you for the last several years. But yeah, they're trying to release this brand new, amazing Windows 11 SE, probably with just as bad marketing, and nobody's going to know the difference. And people are going to buy these things, we're going to home, be like, I can't install my games. And then we'll have to be like, you can't. Well, it's Windows. Yeah. So stay tuned for that and be a lookout for that. Well, Windows 11 is being rolled out to more PCs. So if you're using Windows 10, you're happily using Windows 10. Now it's going to start giving you advertisements for that. Really, why are some of you guys still on Windows? Last few times I turn it on, it's like, bling! Like, how many times you guys watch a live stream or something? You're watching somebody else's channel. You know they're using Windows because, bling! It's an ad. You're in there doing professional content production. Bling! Would you like to try Bing? Well, I uninstalled it. Maybe that should give you a hint. But yeah, Windows is just pushing ads everywhere. Random ad notifications, random ads in the start menus, random ads on your file managers. Holy hell. So now, yeah, there you go. There's your ad right there. Upgrade Windows 11. It's ready. It's here for free. Notice your two options. Download, install, and stay on Windows 10 for now. So, yeah, stay away from that crap. And on to our feature story. Yeah, I know people are like, Microsoft loves open source now. And they've been doing that for a while. Guys, let's quote from the faculty, okay? I haven't seen the movie in 20 years. I'm going to get the quote wrong. Let me get the gist of it. If you wanted to take over the world, would you go in independent style and blow up the White House, or would you sneak in a back school in Iowa? All right. And I think it was Ohio. Wasn't it Ohio? I don't know. Anyway, that's really the point. Microsoft has been doing a lot of buddy stuff with open source Linux. And it was like, oh, see, they love Linux now. That was a long time ago. Guys, their plan is the same. It's to destroy the open source community. That's always been their plan. I don't care if it looks like they're playing nice. Yeah, it looks like they're going to play nice for 10 or 15 or 20 or 30 or 40 years. Why do you think the World Economic Forum sitting here and stuff going, in 2030 is our plan? That's a long ways away, okay? I mean, really? Well, they tried one of their EEE attempts this week. Fortunately, there was so much pushback. They're like, whoa, we're not ready to EEE yet. We got to hold back. Give it another decade, all right? So this centered around .NET. So Microsoft released a hot reload in .NET framework, which would allow people utilizing .NET to make an adjustment and then hot deploy it to an already running application as a means to test and fix, and basically it streamlined the development process. Well, .NET, of course, has been making all these things, and Microsoft has been, buddy with Linux and FOSS and open source and all the Linux Foundation, all this. And I was like, wow, Microsoft is great. And so people have started using this, and a lot of systems started to rely on an open source project, started to rely on .NET, and they're doing all these types of things. And at the last minute, Microsoft's like, nah, I can't have that. They're only releasing the hot reload to Microsoft Visual Basic and Visual Studios. Sorry, I took programming 20 years ago. I'm going to be like one of those old guys talking about taking their computer science classes on Fortran with punch cards. Anyway, Windows and Visual Studio will be the only place that was. Now, that's what their original plan was. There was so much backlash that, according to this article here on ZDNet, they're actually going to rethink that plan. But understand, this is how this works. Embrace, Extend, Extinguish is not something that's so short-term. Our society has been pushed so short-term that we cannot think past 2 minutes from now. I mean, we've done this in every aspect of our society. You go to the fast food restaurant, they hand you your cup, and you can get any drink you want, every drink you want. You can mix it together, and then you can get as many refills as you want, and you don't have to wait for them. You used to be able to go and get refills, but you'd have to take your cup back up to the counter, hand it to them, and tell them what you had. A long time ago. And then they started putting the drink fountain out there. Said, here's your cup, you do it as many times as you would like. Okay, and so with that, Embrace, Extend, Extinguish takes a long time. And this is the evidence that they have not gone all buddy-buddy with FOSS. They've not gone all buddy-buddy with Linux. This is why people like me are deeply concerned when we start seeing all these Microsoft things showing up in Linux things, because they are not the allies. They're a huge, data-hungry corporation which has no other plan or purpose than to extinguish the things that compete with its bottom line, and free software does just that. And this just proves it. This just proves it. For you guys like, oh, they like Linux now. That was a long time ago. Yeah, these things take a long time to pull off. It's going to take them a little bit longer now, but hopefully people see through and say, screw Microsoft. That's what we need to be doing. Screw Microsoft. Well, if you'd like to help support the channel, you can have a look at our affiliates. Today we are highlighting Mint Mobile. I switched my phone over to Mint Mobile, and I went from paying $60 a month to $160 a year for actually twice as much data as I was getting on the old plan, and it works in all the same places. And so really, Mint Mobile is a good option. Now, it does work on T-Mobile towers, so you have to make sure that you can support that. But they make it cheap because you buy it in 3-month or higher increments. I usually do the year at a time, which is why I'm paying like $160 for the whole year. But it's $45 for 3 months, 4 gigabytes of data, 5G, 4G, and use your own devices. Just pop a SIM card in. Anything that would work with a T-Mobile device will do that. Unlimited talk and text, of course. Then they have the 30 a month, so $90 for 3 months of service, unlimited talk and text, and it is 35 gigabytes of data. After that, you still get data. It's just throttled down. So have a look at Mint Mobile, tlm.li/mm. So now going to Sillyville. Samsung keeps mocking Apple and then following suit. Samsung is really a stupid company. That's right. We got a notch. We got a notch. We got a notch. Well, I mean, good thing I was already completely done with Samsung products anyway. But yeah, now this is just renders, so this may not completely happen, but that's what they're suggesting, is there may be a notch on your Sony devices. That's all we need. Oh, Lordy. Well, we'll see what happens there. Well, some CDC news that has nothing to do with the coof. There was this mysterious melanosis outbreak that was happening. Like you had one guy who had this same thing as this weird strand is somewhere else, and then another person showed up with it somewhere else. And actually, I remember this came out in the news. It's like, man, what's going on? This is crazy. Weird stuff's happening. Well, it actually turned out that it's just an aromatherapy spray that's sold at Walmart. Gotta be careful. So these are an aromatherapy spray that you can use on sprayers. It's supposed to soothe and disinfect the air. You know, they're selling as like the ultimate treatment for everything under the sun. Use this, especially when puts out lavender into the air. Well, this Walmart lavender spray completely filled the air with the bacteria that causes melanoidosis and caused a whole lot of people to be infected. And so they did track it down to the sprays sold at certain Walmart stores. And I think this is the list of the Walmart stores. Let's go ahead and pull that open for you guys. So Alabama, Colorado, Florida, Georgia, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Michigan, Missouri, New Mexico, Ohio, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Texas, Utah, and Wisconsin. So if you have purchased, I think it's specifically the lavender spray for those sprayers, lavender and chamomile with gemstones. It turned out that the gemstones is what was contaminated. So definitely discontinue use, take it back to the Walmart store if you've purchased it, particularly from those particular locations. And this is both your silliness and your recall notice. So there you have. Well, if you happen to have $680,000 laying around, you too could own this working hover bike. Let me mute that in case there's any sound. External. Put on the awesome gloves. Jump on the amazing hover bike and push the button. So apparently it is run by ginormous fans. Fly it up to 62 miles per hour. That just does not seem safe for a brand new product. Okay, so okay, yeah, we were on a track. There you go. So there you have it. Let's see if he actually gets this thing moving fast. That'd be fun. I gotta say, it's definitely nice. Definitely cool. I'm going to keep it away from my mother, who broke her wrists using a hoverboard. I'm going to tell her about the hover bike now and ask her if she would like to try that instead. It seems a little safer. $680,000, you can have one too. So there you go. Curious if it'll actually show up and actually function. But that's the beginning of our crazy new world. All right. Well, for anybody else out there, of course, I'm also not interested in Ghostbusters anymore. Pretty much for any Hollywood people out there, if you remake and destroy a movie from my childhood, screw you forever, and I'm not giving you a dime. So they killed Ghostbusters, but Hasbro now is like, hey, everyone's into this being children and juveniles and stuff. Let's go ahead and make a proton pack. And so, utilizing scans from the original movie, they put everything together and created a full life-size proton pack. It's about $400, and it looks kind of like this. So you can get one of these guys. It will light up. It'll make the noises. It just won't shoot streams that you can cross, because we just don't need the whole world blowing up because two fools are playing around with Ghostbusters here, you know. So, anyway, you can now buy the Ghostbusters Proton Pack if you happen to want to. $400. So $400 though is a little bit more affordable than $680,000. So there you have it. There you have it. And last up in Sillyville today, this is something that the Republicans are completely brain dead. Anything technology. Democrats are pretty far back there behind. They have slight bits more competency, but not anywhere close. So the story here is there's a security professor or a security worker who was looking at the web pages for the Missouri government and found that looking at the profile pages for teachers, if you simply viewed the source code, you could find their social security number and other private details. Now, this actually is something that they were told about a while ago by a security audit, and they didn't act on it. So when this security person reached out and said, hey, this is kind of a problem, they responded by threatening him with a lawsuit for hacking, for looking at the source code. Okay? So I'm going to just go ahead and push a button, and it's the F12 button on the keyboard. You can see that little bar popped up at the bottom. Let me make it a little bit bigger so you can see it. Now I'm kind of in the way there, so just come on over here. Let me move my microphone for you. And then what you can actually do is grab this little guy at the very end and click on this. And then you can come over here and you can highlight anything in the site. Look at this. I'm actually hacking Ars Technica as we speak, guys. That's right, by viewing their source code. No, obviously I'm not. But this moron of governor thinks that viewing source code on a publicly available website with the built-in browser tools is hacking, and so he's trying to threaten the guy over it. Professor demands, so this is a security professor, looks at this case and tells the governor, you're a moron, drop the case and apologize for your own sheer stupidity. These are the morons running our country. But at least the governor knows what he's doing. He doesn't like, Cornholio! What's that? Cornholio! No, we, so the Missouri governor, I don't know, Social Security numbers were sent to everybody. So on October 11th and 12th, Professor Khan verified the security flaw. He did so by visiting the public website, which is accessible to anybody. It did not require a login. Looking at the publicly available source code, which can be easily done by anybody on a web page under the View menu option. Identifying a suspicious piece of source code referred to as view state that can contain security flaws like the one found here, and translating the source code into plain text, which can also be done by anyone. Entire process will be completed by anyone in a matter of just a few minutes. None of the data is encrypted. No passwords are required. No steps were taken by the state of Missouri to protect the Social Security numbers of its teachers that the state automatically sent to every website visitor. And literally, that's kind of the thing going on, right? It's like he's threatening lawsuits of the guy who tells him about a security flaw that somebody else told them about years ago. That's crazy. That's crazy. So no, viewing the website source code is not hacking. Well, if you'd like to help support the channel, I do have a Patreon page, patreon.com/TOMM. That will support all my different channels. I will have the van channel up there eventually at some point in time. But anyway, you can jump on over there, help support the show. And with that, guys, we will see you next time. Thank you for watching this video from Switched to Linux. This channel would not be possible without the backing of the program supporters scrolling on the screen now. You can be a supporter at Patreon at patreon.com/TOMM or at thinklifemedia.com. I also want to thank the open source community who creates such excellent software that makes producing this show possible. Please remember to support your software communities. Thank you, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.